Okay, there we are. All right, so in this video, I'm going to talk about how I'm going to take over the pickup industry. And this video might sound like it's just me bragging, me showing off. Oh, I'm so cool. Look at me taking it's partly about that, but really what it's about is how I set goals, how I look at like getting what I want to do done, how I go about that, what my mindset is, so that you can copy that for whether it's for attracting women, being more successful in business, any goal that you might have. And as for my qualifications, like why would you listen to the way I set goals? 3 years ago, I was completely broke. And when I say completely broke, I mean I was completely broke. I had $0 in the bank and I made like $50 a week from freelancing. That's where I started. And now last month I made about 20K. And if I keep it the same track, I'll make six figures this year. I made six figures last year. But my goal is actually to make seven figures this year. And the way I do that is by conquering the pickup industry. And the pickup niche, you've got Todd V, you've got Coach Kyle, you've got people like that, right? Those are the big names in the industry. And I look at them, and it's not that I dislike their content, but would it really be that hard to outdo them? Would it be really that hard to get 10 times their views within a few months? Maybe 5 times their views. I don't know. 10 times sounds like a lot. But right now, in terms of views in the pickup industry, I'm like number 5, number 6, somewhere around there. And if I want to become number 1, I would need to get about 10 to 20 times as many views as I'm currently getting. And I got to where I am. My channel, my main channel, has 20,000 subscribers almost. And I got there working on my channel about 10 hours per week. And that's not a lot. There are people who work 80, 90, 100 hours per week on something when they're dedicated. And so I've really been thinking, I have not been doing nearly as much as I could be doing. And I think my advice, my strategy, the things I teach are the best in the industry. And so I'm not only letting myself down, but I'm letting other people down by not conquering that industry, if that makes sense. And so the fact that I'm only putting 10 hours per week into my channel is kind of messed up, not just for myself, but for other people. And that's the first part of the mindset, is that you can offer, is like thinking you can offer a lot of value, that you have a lot that you can accomplish, and that there's no excuse that you're not doing so. That's the first thing, because when I told my own mother that I was going to be an entrepreneur, I was going to make money online, I was not going to do graduate school, I was going to drop out, she was like, "You're never going to make it." And her boyfriend said I was never going to make it, a very smart, charismatic guy. And it'd be very easy to listen to them. But with just 10 hours to 20 occasionally, but 10 to 20 hours per week, I did make it. Within 2 years, I was making more than I would have made with my master's degree. And so the first thing is the mindset of potential, the mindset that your competition fucking sucks. So when I think Todd V and Coach Kyle, in terms of the amount of output, the amount of effort they're putting into their channels, they fucking suck. And it would be easy to put 10 times as much effort as they're putting in to make my channel bigger than theirs. And there are many reasons for that, but I'll talk more specifics about my strategy. So you get an idea of like, how do you turn this mindset into specifics? But the general overarching idea is, look at the people around you. Is the competition really that difficult? I managed to get straight A's in college studying not that much. It wasn't that hard. Like, I had a full-time job. I was working 40 hours per week and had a 4.0 consistently. And that was not that difficult to do. And I look around and the people are not that smart. They're not that talented, but we put ourselves on a low standard. We see what other people are doing and we put ourselves on that standard, right? 70% of Americans are fat. 70% of Americans are overweight. So we put ourselves on the standard that that's what's normal. So if you change your standard of what's normal, then you're going to get different results. So that's the first thing. Now, what does that actually look like? In terms of pickup, in terms of taking over YouTube, what you want to do, and this could apply to any business, any goal that you have, you want to look at the most successful examples around you and think, how can you do what they do and what can you do slightly differently? So when I look at Coach Kyle, very successful, what made him go viral? What made his channel blow up? He had an infield that was a 4-minute pull that was not even his best infield. The girl was not that hot. And I'm not saying he doesn't pull hot girls, but that particular infield, the girl was not that hot. It was not his best infield. She was an average looking girl. He pulls her, and then his channel, he gets like 1 million views in a month. And I know for my own channel, infield is the closest I went to going viral. I've had infield videos get 10,000 views in the first day. I've had infield videos get 4,000 views. It's nerve-wracking to do infield because you're going to be judged a lot more than with normal videos. It's harder to do, but less people do it. So if I double down on infield, then my channel will inevitably blow up. No one else is putting out infield. Almost no one else in the industry. The only people who are doing it are prank channels. So all I have to do in the next 3 months, and by the way, this video, you're going to see it now and think, oh, well, he's just, being arrogant. He's being cocky, jacking himself off. But then in 3 months, when I'm getting more views than Todd V, when I'm getting more views than Coach Kyle, when my sub count might not catch up to theirs that fast, it might, but when it's on the track to beating them, then it's going to be obvious that, holy shit, this mindset, this strategy worked. And so that's the main reason I'm making this video, is for posterity, for it's something to look back at. Once I've proven that what I'm doing is true, then you can see, holy shit, he wasn't lying. Because usually when we see success stories, we see only the after. We see, okay, this guy's rich. This guy gets a lot of girls. Like, I wish I had infield. I wish I had infield videos from when I was 19 and I had crippling social anxiety, because that would be extremely inspirational. But I don't, sadly. So that's the idea of this video, is that you're going to be able to look back at this in 3 months. Now you might think, it's not going to happen. No way. He's being arrogant. No way. In 3 months, when my channel is getting 50,000, 100,000 views per day, then you'll be able to say, holy shit, he wasn't fucking around. And what does that mean for me? What does that mean for my goal for losing weight, for making more money, for getting more girls in my life, for approaching women, whatever it is? So that's the underlying idea. So infield, if I record, I have a full-time employee who can record me, but I am hesitant to do it. I resist it. But once I start getting 10 to 20 hours of new infield footage per week, and I post 2 infield videos every day, guess what? One of them is going to go viral. Eventually, one of them is going to have the right thumbnail, the right title. Maybe something controversial happens. Maybe a white knight will come in. Maybe some beta male will say, you shouldn't approach her. And then I'll pull the girl in front of him. Something interesting will happen. And eventually my channel will go viral. And I'll be posting infield, and I'll also be posting, like funny videos where I try different ideas. I've been looking at what goes viral. So there's like basketball shots, but each one is more impressive. So I'm going to try that with infield. Approaching women, but each one gets more sexual, for example, right? Or approaching women until I get rejected. Looking at other things that work in other niches and then applying it to myself, to a different niche. That's an idea that is, it's called the remix strategy. It has been proven to work. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be half posting real infields, just good interactions, and half posting funny videos, but doing different things until I find something that hits the algorithm. So that's part of it. The other part is posting a lot of different content, reacting to people who are blowing up. So reacting to Andrew Tate because he's blowing up. He's a genius marketer. He's blowing up. Reacting to his videos can get some of that traffic. Reacting to other viral videos, other videos that are somehow relevant to pick up, movies, TV shows, because I've done it before. It's worked. It's gotten more views than most videos do. And so by doing that, I'm eventually going to get a video that's bound to get 1 million views in the first week. It's going to happen eventually if I keep doing that. And so that's the underlying principle that I'm talking about here is, yes, the biggest thing when it comes to anything is not necessarily the creativity or even the quality of the content. You would think it would be, but really it's the amount of effort. So when it comes to approaching women, if you approach 100 women, let's say 50 women in a night out, by the end of it, you're going to get a ton of numbers. You're going to have some girls liking you. And part of it is just the sheer numbers game. So like if I post 50 videos in a week, one of them is going to do well, right? Part of it's just luck, right? You put a bunch of shit out there, something is going to stick. That's part of it, right? It's the luck factor. And that's important. But the other part of it is the fact that momentum is very powerful. So when you approach 100 women, the first approach might be awkward, but after you've been rejected 5-10 times, you stop giving a shit and you get more momentum and you get more confident in yourself. And everything you do becomes more effective. Just like with YouTube videos, it's very awkward talking to a lens, looking into a lens that gives you no social feedback and making a video. That's awkward. It's difficult to do. You could try it and make a 10-minute video. It's awkward. And it's awkward for me. I'm not immune to that. I don't really like it naturally. But I've noticed in periods when I'm making a video every day, or let's say I'm making 2 videos a day, all of a sudden it becomes way more comfortable. But if I were to make, say, 5 videos a day, not only is it going to become comfortable, but I'm going to start enjoying it. I'm going to start becoming addicted to it. I'm going to become way more charismatic on camera. I'm going to get a better idea of which titles do well in the algorithm. And on an unconscious level, you understand the skill set better. And this applies to anything. So momentum is extremely, extremely powerful, and it's very underestimated. It's the same thing. If you approach 100 women, by the end of that night where you approach, okay, most people are never going to do that, 50 women. When you approach 50 women, by the end of those 50 approaches, you're going to be more charismatic than you've ever been in your fucking life. You're going to be doing things you never thought you were capable of. I guarantee it. Go do it. You probably won't, but go do it, and you will become more charismatic than you ever thought you were capable of becoming. I guarantee that. And the same thing applies to YouTube, to business, to anything else. Momentum is extremely powerful. The most popular channel in the red pill community, which is related to the pickup community, is Just Pearly Things. It's this girl who does a podcast. She posts 10 videos a day. The videos are not the highest effort videos. She does a podcast that's like 3 hours, and she posts clips. She goes over a bunch of different topics. But doing 10 videos a day, doing 3 hours a day, has led her channel to have exponential growth. It got like 50, 70K subscribers in 1 month, so she went from like 100 to 150K in 1 month. That's insane. That's unheard of. It was done because the sheer amount of effort. Fresh and Fit, I don't agree with some of the things they say, but guess what? They put in so much effort doing 2 shows every day, at least 5 days a week, that they blew up. In 6 months, they went from no audience to something like 500,000 subscribers. So that's part of my strategy. I'm going to put the volume of effort. And if all I can do is 5 videos talking to the camera, 5 live videos like this, I'll do that. Fine. But I'm going to do that plus doing different creative things. So reacting to, to people who are very successful already, because it's good for the algorithm. And then also doing infield and doing prank videos where I'm going to try to show good game, but I'm still doing I have to use an awkward line to open with, or I have to act like a certain character. That's the idea. That is the most likely thing to go viral. And so by doing this within 3 months, I will be getting more views than Todd V, Coach Kyle. I don't know who else might be getting the most views in the industry, but those are the 2 that come to mind. But I will be getting the most views in the industry, and my channel will get to at least 50K subs in 3 months. And I'm saying that now. I'm going to put this publicly. I'm going to put this out publicly. Some people are going to think, I'm ridiculous. Some people are going to mock it. I'm arrogant, etc. That is going to happen. I have a big ego. That is going to be some people's reaction. But after 3 months passes, this will be out there, right? People will be able to see that it came true. And that is the power here. That's why I'm doing this video where it's kind of me just talking about myself, which I don't usually like to do. It's going to be inspirational because you're going to see that it came true. The only thing that could stop me is myself if I don't follow through on my word. But I'm tired of half-assing it. I've done that too long. It's really easy to be moderately successful. A lot of people don't think it is, but it's way easier than people think it is. Like anyone who's not making six figures, you're really not fucking trying. Or, hey, I'll point at myself. I'll point there at myself. Anyone who's not in good shape, it's really your fucking fault. Because how did I get out of shape? I got out of shape by drinking like 800 calories several times a week, right? Or more, right? Drinking enough that's drinking is so many calories, by not counting my calories, not working out. Like you have to make so many bad decisions that compound to not be in good shape. It's really not that fucking hard to be in good shape. All you have to do, get an app, MyFitnessPal, count your calories, press the buttons, right? Whenever you eat a meal, put it in and make sure it's not over the number it tells you. That's all you have to do. That's literally all you have to do. And you could lose 40 pounds in 6 months. That's what I've done in the past. So it requires a serious neglect, a serious apathy, a serious laziness, a serious just horrible, pathetic attitude that you need to be pissed off about. And I'm pissed off about it with myself because, yeah, I got my channel to be one of the, the middling pickup channels that's got some people know it, but some people don't even know I exist. Todd V might not even know I exist. He might not. But it's not, I want my name when people think of pickup or dating to be the first one that comes up. And when I look at the competition, Todd V puts out like a video every week or so. Coach Kyle puts out a video like every week or so. Do you know how long it takes to make a YouTube video? You talk to the camera for 10 to 20 minutes and you hire an editor, right? Once you have more than like 10,000 subscribers, you can afford to hire an editor. You don't even need to do it all yourself. It's really not that hard, but we hold ourselves to too low of a standard. And that's the message of this video, is that you are holding yourself to the standard of the people that you're seeing around you. That standard is pathetic. That standard is awful. That standard is going to lead to a mediocre life. And the thing is, it is painful and stressful to push yourself, to be an extremist, to be obsessed. But once you start doing it, once you get that becomes who you are, you actually enjoy that stress because that stress has meaning. That stress means you're conquering something. That stress means you're leveling up. It means you're becoming who you want to be. And the feeling of becoming who you want to be, the feeling of being in alignment with your values is happiness. That is the greatest source of happiness that I have ever experienced. And any time, any period in my life where I really felt that way, that's when I felt truly happy. It's when I pushed myself and did things that were difficult, that were stressful, that other people wouldn't do. When I got to a level that other people wouldn't get to. Someone's spamming the chat. AG, your G, love your content. Thank you. Awesome message. Thank you. It would be a hit. Do a series debunking the black pillars for... I like that idea, but what do you mean specifically? So debunking black pillars for online game, how do I do that? Because I think that's a cool idea, but the question is, in what way? And that ends this video. I'm going to do a couple at least right now. There's a few topics I want to talk about. One is visualization. One is self-punishment. So I'm going to keep going for at least another 20, 30 minutes. But I would like, Diego, I like that idea about debunking the black pill. I'm going to go take a quick 30-second break. And in the meantime, let me know exactly what you're talking about. This is why you do not order sunglasses on Amazon. Average looking minority guys, showing them how they can kill it. I mean, that's a good idea. But how do I need to get minority guys to get them better pictures. There's a lot that goes into that. So it seems like a cool idea. But Indian PE, cold approach. Yeah, you have to get them to actually cold approach. That's, if they're black pillars, that's easier said than done. So that's the problem, is I have to get infield of them. And these people, the black pill people, generally, they're in a coping mindset. Cold approach, online game profile. Yeah, I'm a bit confused by that. Oh, and gave up on everything but seeking. Look, seeking can work for sure. I would say generally online dating is harder if you're not good looking than cold approach. And seeking, look, it's borderline prostitution. You can do it without paying, but you're meeting the kind of girls that would be willing to be prostitutes. So is that really what you want? I don't know. To me, it's kind of sad. I don't know. I find it depressing. I know people who do it who I respect, so maybe there's something to it. But the idea that these women are getting paid by other men for sex, maybe they really like you, but they're the kind of women who would do that, is just unattractive. Cold approach works. It's a bit of a numbers game. Yeah, of course it's a numbers game, but everything is a numbers game. That's the thing that bothers me. Okay, so is pickup just a numbers game? This brought up a topic. Is pickup just a numbers game? So the fuck what? Everything in life is a numbers game. You want to be good at sales? Guess what? You're going to have to run a lot of volume. You have to knock on 100 doors to get one sale. But the salesmen who make the most money are the ones who don't give a fuck that it's a numbers game. The people who get the most women, they don't give a fuck that it's a numbers game. People who are like, oh, well, who gives a fuck? If you approach 100 women, some of them are going to like you. Even if you approach them badly, even if you're not good looking, even if you're awkward. Unless you're really terrible in every way, at least 1 out of 100 girls that you approach will hook up with you. And if it's lower than that, then you might have autism. You might just be if you're 4'7" or something, right? You're just the worst looking person in the world. Then maybe you will struggle to get 1 out of 100. But even if you're awful, at least 1 out of 100, as long as you're going for the numbers, as long as you're inviting them back home with you, you're actually playing the numbers game, you're moving things forward, some of them are going to like you. If you're taller, it's going to be a higher percentage. If you're better looking, it's going to be a higher percentage. If you're wealthier, it's going to be a higher percentage. Well, actually, that one's not even true. If you're famous, it's going to be a huge percentage. Then you don't even have to approach. Oh no, Leo, like these famous people, they don't have to approach. Girls just come. So what? That's not your situation. That's not relevant to you at all. Like this fear of the numbers game. Oh, a lot of girls are going to reject. So what? The fact is, I know I've done actually surveys of my audience, and I've done surveys of other audiences as well. And I know that about 90% of people who watch pickup videos don't approach women at all. Only 10% approach women at all. So they're not even playing the numbers game. Excuse me. They're afraid of playing the numbers game. They're afraid. Oh, that means something about me. It means I'm not good enough. It means I'm too short. One of the girls will like you if you actually play the numbers game. Because 90% don't approach. 10%, and of the remaining 10%, most of them barely approach. They approach one girl per week. Bullshit. You know what my rule used to be? When I lived in Vegas in 2016, my rule was I would either approach 50 girls or bring a girl home, whichever came first. That was my rule. Do you know what happened? Guess what happened? I pulled 9 girls 9 days in a row. All of them were hot. Why did that happen? Because I wasn't being a little bitch. I wasn't worried about being rejected. Some girls would be like, "Ooh, you're gross." Some girls would say, "Fuck off. I don't like you." I don't even remember those scenarios. I remember the ones that I took home. I remember the experiences I had with women who are like, "She's out of my league. She's so hot. How am I like the sex, the whole interaction, the chemistry?" That's what I remember. The ones who rejected me, I can only remember a few rejections in my life. There's a few that stood out because the girls were just really mean. There's a few that they were just like, "You have the body of a 12-year-old and a woman will never love you." There's a few I remember. But what I really remember are the success stories. So who cares if it's a numbers game? Why are you so egotistical that you give a shit that it's a numbers game? Win the numbers game. If it's a numbers game, that means you can win. That means you have a chance to win. That means the fact that you haven't been running volume, that you haven't been running numbers, is the reason that you're not winning. It's that simple. Oh, shut the fuck up. Your excuses are bullshit. Have you played the numbers game? Have you done 50 approaches in a night like I have? No? So you're not even playing the numbers game. So stop complaining about the fact that it's a numbers game and try playing it and see what the fuck happens. This actually pisses me off a little because I know so many people. It relates to myself when I was younger. Oh, I'm going to watch all the content. I'm going to watch 80 hours of videos and then I'm going to... Shut the fuck up. You have never played the game. You're stuck in these theories about your looks, about needing charisma, about all this shit. You've never done more than one, let's say you've never done more than 5 approaches in a night. You're not playing the game. That's like if you are complaining, "Oh, I'm fat, I can't gain muscle." And you say, "I went to the gym." You went to the gym for 5 minutes and did 1 set. And you keep doing 1 set and you're like, "Oh, I'm not gaining muscle. I did 1 set." I don't want to have to play the numbers game and I don't want to have to do it for an hour and endure the pain of the... So what? Yeah, there's pain in success. Anything that is worth having involves pain. It involves doing things other people aren't willing to endure. And that applies to pickup. So yeah, I think that ends that particular rant. That topic, pisses me off. But if you enjoyed this video, you enjoyed this little rant, then make sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the bell button. I recently I recently released a book that I sincerely believe is the best book that has ever been written about pickup. You can click the link below to get it. And now I'm going to look at the comments. I like it. Max Punish. I don't know Max Punish. The name. Wait, is that he's from Playing with Fire, right? I think I am aware of him. Okay. So let's look at these comments real quick, and then I'll go into the next topic. Nice thing about online dating is you can use different angles. Yeah, I'm going to talk about online dating more in the future because I don't like online dating in terms of I don't think it's very fun, but my current profile kills it, and I never killed it before. I've got pictures that I'm getting. If I do a boost, I'll get 30. I don't know. I get a lot of likes. I have hundreds and hundreds of matches, more than I can even keep track of, and it's not because I was always I'm just good looking. No, I got really good pictures, got them edited properly, and now even though before I could only get like a 6, now I actually am doing well in online dating. So I'll talk about that at some point. Hit me up. Talk about the ideas for sure. I would be. So if you want to hit me up, just if you have ideas, I'm going to put in my email. Not email.com. That's not a thing. Actually, probably is a thing. Yeah, it's a cheat code. You're right. That's a Todd V video that pickup is a cheat code. And I'm not the biggest fan of Todd V, I'll be honest, but that idea is 100% true. Chad Light, so it helps. Yes. I've had autistic clients take a hot girl's virginity. I've seen that happen. I'm not saying if you're autistic, it can't work, but it's definitely a disadvantage. I mean, it's harder when you're autistic. I'm not going to say it's not. I'm not just like it's harder if you're 4'8" or 5'0". It's going to be harder, but is it impossible? No, it's not impossible. Okay, so this guy's done 10,000 approaches and he still gets awful results. Has he ever recorded an approach? Can you show a recording of one of his approaches? Because I'd love to see it. Because I imagine they're fucking terrible. Now, look, I'm ready to be proven wrong, but I imagine they're fucking horrible. Because I knew a guy who approached 20 girls every night. I met him. He wasn't getting any results. He was fucking terrible. He was the worst I'd ever seen. All right. He thinks he has the best game in the world. Well, that's interesting. You do wait, if you do gangbangs, then he doesn't get awful results. I mean, I don't know. He has a huge mansion. It helped. Yeah, well, that would definitely help for seeking arrangement. Yes. I don't think there's anything wrong with look, if you want to do seeking arrangement, you want to trade money for sex, there's nothing wrong with it if that's what you're into. It's just not appealing to me. I'm a good philosopher. Thank you. Kevin wishes he was you. Well, I'm not going to agree with that. Yes, that clip is definitely going to be clipped and uploaded because I got into a mood. Let's see. 8 hours a day, weeks game for months when I started Game is Life. What kind of results did you get when you did that? Because that's pretty insane. I never did 8 hours a day for I've never done that much. I've done a lot, but I've never done 8 hours a day. Yes, it is 100% not that hard to close hot girls and seeking for free. The problem is they're still seeking girls. To me, I mean, I guess I have to try it before I really. It's those girls, other guys, they want to be paid for it. They're the kind of girl that would do that. So they're the kind of girl that's a taker, right? They're the kind of girl that has really nothing, they don't have any personality, charisma. They're probably not going to be good in bed. I've pulled hot Instagram models. I've pulled fashion models. I've pulled the kinds of girls where their whole identity is people I take from people give me. They usually suck. So I would imagine seeking arrangement's the same thing. It's an ego hit. Like, oh, she was really hot and I fucked her. But was the actual sex good? I'd rather fuck a 7 that's really good in bed and I have really good chemistry with and it was meaningful than a 10 where she's a starfish and she just exists and she's annoying. That's me. And I said 7. I didn't say 5. I didn't say 4. I said 7. 17 numbers for 80 approaches. What's the environment? It really depends on the environment. So are we talking a mall? Are we talking college campus? Like, what are we talking about? It's not horrible though, right? The question is, how many of those did a couple of those numbers at least turn into dates or none? I'm not going to lie. I'm not the biggest fan of Coach Whitepill. I'll just be completely honest. College campus is not great then, because college, just being completely honest, I don't filter. College campus, if you're getting 1 out of 4 approaches roughly for a number that's a little low, 50% is good. Unless you're just really picky, because some of the girls, like if you don't like their personality. If you're being picky, that's fair. But if you're only approaching girls that you find attractive and you're only getting 1 out of 4 numbers, that's a bit low. It's not horrible, but it's not great. Seeking and crazy 300 mansion parties and get 7s and 8s. Yeah, that's a whole strategy. It's basically, it's like social circle, and doing that works. The problem is it's not the kind of girls that I aspire to have generally. Okay, so next I have another topic. Give me 5 seconds. I have another topic. It's actually one of the can you hop on? What do you want to talk about? Like, I'm open to the idea of someone hopping on, but yeah, but okay, so that's kind of like saying, like, yeah, most rich people, their parents were rich, right? I don't know the statistics. Maybe that's not even true, but a lot of rich people, their parents were rich, and they're rich because their parents were rich. So therefore, why would I do something different that goes against the grain? Because most people are rich, didn't have to do this. That's not really a relevant question. The relevant question is, does this strategy work? Right? So, like, oh, guys who are successful with women, most of them didn't learn pickup. Does pickup work is the question. That doesn't matter, because they have a different circumstance. They were always good with it. They had it naturally for whatever reason. And I would argue that people who are naturally good with women, they do pickup. They approach women. Look at Andrew Tate. He's someone who has a like 500 plus leg count. Why does Andrew Tate have a 500 plus leg count? Is it because he just naturally, the women just came to him because he's good looking and tall and rich or whatever? No. He did game. He just didn't call it game. Right? That his game was just normal to him. He approached women in clubs and bars, and he pulled girls doing that. And people who are good with women, that's what they do. So, like, the idea that they didn't learn pickup, they didn't read a book about it, but they still did it. Black pill, pure. Well, when someone calls themselves pure hearted, I don't know about that, but I don't know how to. I'm new to StreamYard, to be honest. I don't really know how to add someone. Did I take a boot camp or program? No, I did not. I bought courses. I did do that, but I wish I had taken a boot camp if it was a good one, not just anyone. But if it was a good boot camp, I wish I had in the first year, because I got very little progress until I met a good wingman. All right, like, I didn't start making progress in pickup until I found a good wingman. That's when I started doing well. Okay. If someone, I'm about to film some infield. So if anyone has infield video ideas, let me know. Why am I success? That could maybe we could talk about that. All right, so yeah, copy Vadim. I like his idea, but like I need a character specific. Like I'm not going to copy the same character. So what's a character idea that I could do? Because those are great ideas. Um, but I'm not going to just do the same character because that's kind of I don't know that just seems lame to me. But I like the idea of doing a character. Yeah, sure. But if anyone has ideas for characters, like the first one that comes to my mind is like Russian escapee from the war, but maybe that could get me into trouble. Barney from How I Met Your Mother. Yeah, that's actually a very good idea. The only problem is I have to get a suit to do that, right? I don't even own a suit, but I guess it's an excuse to buy a suit. I've kind of wanted to get one, so maybe I do that. Barney, it would be hilarious. That could be a very viral, very good video. Honestly, that's a pretty genius idea because he's a hugely popular character. No one's done it. He does pickup. He's basically based. He's inspired by pickup, and I could do some of his plays. I could actually try them. I'm glad to hear that, Ivan. You have a thousand awesome ideas. I have no problem with inviting you on. I just don't know how to do it, honestly. So that's the problem. Is I'm new to StreamYard. I'm a boomer. All right. Uh, your looks is one relevant factor for sure, but I don't think that's going to be the biggest issue. No, most likely it's not. Like if you're only getting one. Okay, so you said you're getting 1 out of 4 approaches is turning into a number. How many are turning into a date? That's the question. How many of those are turning into a date? Because if none of them are turning into a date, that's a problem. And look, all right, so actually, you know what? Here's a topic that is controversial, might get me into trouble, but I think it's worth talking about. Indian guys in America approaching women. Based on your name, I'm guessing you're Indian. Let me know if I'm wrong. 20, that's actually good. So your percentage turning into dates is really good. So that means you're not doing too terribly, honestly. But how do Indian men in America do well with women? I will be completely honest. It is a disadvantage to be Indian unless you're talking to Indian women only in America. It's 100% a disadvantage. Just there's a cultural stereotype. Look at the Bobs and Vagana memes, right? The cultural stereotype, Bobs and Vagana, that's not exactly a sexy stereotype. It's making fun of Indian guys being awkward. And I've had a lot of Indian clients who I do boot camps with. And what I found is that Indian guys, partly because of the culture, because of our society in America, they have a feeling that women don't find them attractive. And there's a degree of truth to that. Like it's partially true. Like some women have a bias against Indian men. And so one of the things, being an Indian guy, to be successful, this also applies to really any Asian guy. Part of the key to success is not seeming too foreign, right? So when you look at your style, the way you talk, the way you carry yourself, if you seem really foreign, that's going to lower your chances. So if you have a very thick accent, it's going to make things harder. I've seen guys with thick accents have success. I had one boot camp client who actually had a threesome on his second day of the boot camp. Even though he had a thick accent, he was bald, he was 34, he still did that. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but it is a disadvantage. I will not lie. It is 100% a disadvantage. Being Indian is not going to make things easier, especially with white women and with black women, especially with Asian women, Indian women. Well, it's actually sometimes an advantage, but with black women, white women, I would say it's a notable disadvantage. A lot of those women have a bias finding Indian and Asian men in general less attractive. But the more you seem foreign, the bigger that disadvantage becomes. So taking classes to make your accent less thick, to sound more like you were raised in America will help. You know, the guy who I knew who had the best game, I was actually jealous of this guy when I was 18 and I had no game. I wished I was this guy. His name was Atish. I doubt he's watching, but if he is, cool guy. He was very charismatic. He was 100% Indian. He had the best game of anyone I ever knew. He did not have a thick accent. He did not look foreign. He dressed like an American, right? So buying clothes from shops that look American, getting your grooming done in a way that looks American is going to help. That's the first thing he did. The second part, he was in good shape. Just being in good shape, I would say, I'd have to look at the statistics, but based on my clients who are Indian, not that many are in very good shape. Being in good shape is going to help. So that's one thing that you can do. The other thing that I noticed among Indian guys, let me move that. The other thing I noticed among Indian guys is, well, actually, hold on. Sorry about this. Let me go back to Atish. Atish was 19. He was 19 years old, and I saw him pull 2 nines, blonde girls, 9s from a club. He wasn't even allowed to go to clubs. He was 19, but he was so charismatic, so cool. He was just a great guy that they let him in the club, and he pulled 2 twins. I was massively jealous of this guy. Let me tell you how jealous I was. He went to an MMA gym, and I was like, maybe MMA, well, he does it, and he's really cool. So maybe if I do what he does, I'll be cool. Which, hey, it's not the worst logic, but then I joined the MMA gym, and I thought I would start getting bitches too. It didn't work. It didn't hurt. It was still a good thing to do, but this guy was Indian, and he had the best game of any guy I've ever met. He could get any girl he wanted. So I want to be clear. Being Indian is a disadvantage, but there's exceptions to the rule. Part of it is not seeming super foreign. The other part is what I've noticed. A lot of Indian guys, they have a different mindset about how socialization works. And I'm not entirely sure why this is. I'm being completely honest. I'm not entirely sure why this is, but they tend to have a more logical, transactional mindset about socialization. So they're not trying to be funny and interesting as much. They're not trying to hit the girl on an emotional level. They're trying to impress her more on a logical level. I'm an engineer. I make a lot of money. That's more the mindset. And my guess is it's because India has a caste system. So if you're high in the caste system, most of the people who come to America from India are going to be wealthier back in India, right? From wealthier families. And those families, because you're used to having this automatic value being wealthier, means that you have a different mindset about how socialization should work and that people automatically are supposed to like you. That's my guess. I'm not sure. That might be completely wrong, but for some reason, that's the main thing Indian guys get wrong. The main thing is they're just logical, stiff, serious, and so may we have the sex now? That's kind of the energy. And the main thing Indian guys can do to do better with women, other than doing their grooming, their style, getting in shape, working on the accent, not seeming too foreign, the other main thing they can do is focusing more on being entertaining and interesting and charismatic and funny. Focusing on offering value, on making the girl laugh. It's not like a logical, it's not like engineering, right? A lot of Indian guys are engineers. They're very smart. They're very successful. But they have that mathematical mindset towards dating sometimes. And that mindset is too stiff. It doesn't have enough soul, right? So that's the main thing, is having more soul to your interactions. And your main focus should be, can I make her laugh? Can I make her smile? Can I make her enjoy my presence? And when you do that, there will still be 10 to 20% of women that are just I don't like Indian guys. That's going to be a thing. 100%. Just like there's maybe a smaller percentage, there's like 3 to 5% of women that don't like white guys. It's less common. I mean, I'm not saying being white's a disadvantage because I know it's not. But there's a certain percentage, there's a small percentage of women that just don't like white guys. It's true. I've had girls say, I don't like white guys when I approach them. You're going to have a higher percentage, 10 to 20% would be my guess, of women that just don't like Indian guys. But if you work on that offering value, you work on being charismatic and funny, focus on that aspect of your game. Don't worry about what to say and having all the lines and the logical side of it. Work on offering value, work on the vibe. Then you will be very successful. Because when I do boot camps, Indian clients are both the worst clients and the best clients, or one or the other, which is very interesting to me. And I'm not entirely sure why this is, but I've had Indian clients that fucking crush it because they are very hardworking. They're very smart, fast learners. And when I say something, they're like, they do it. Some of them, right? They'll just try anything. And those ones are the ones like the guy I mentioned who had a threesome on the second night. There was another one who pulled 2 girls, Indian client. Sadly, a lot of Indian guys, they work for like Amazon, so they can't give me testimonials because they would get canceled, right? Because they have high level corporate jobs. But this guy pulled 2 girls in one night, and I saw them, and they were both hot. And the way he was able to do that is he listened to everything I said. He was very hardworking, very dedicated, and was willing to try different things. But some Indian clients are the worst clients because they have too big of an ego for some reason. They just think, no, logically, they need, I will only approach 9s and they need to do that. And they're too serious. Too fucking serious. That is very common. That is something I've experienced. So being Indian, I would say in America, yes, it is a disadvantage. But it's not nearly as big of a disadvantage as you would think. And some of my most successful clients have been Indian. So that's my experience. I'm being honest. I'm not filtering the truth. I'm not saying, oh no, it's not. It is a disadvantage, but it's not a crippling disadvantage either. Because I've seen Indian guys pull hot girls. I've seen it multiple times. I know it's possible. So that's something that I want to put out there. Let's see all these comments. What does Andrew Tate have to do with seeking? I doubt he does seeking, but maybe. Approach with grocery bags. There needs to be some like humor or something interesting about it. I'm Indian. Email me. Okay, emailed you my number. I don't know if calling you will have too low audio quality. That's the only problem. Yeah. Look, white guys don't have the best game either. I would say, like white guys struggle too, but for different reasons. I would say, like if I were to put it on a list, I would say Indian and Asian guys naturally have the worst game in the West. Now, this may be very different in the East, but in the West, Indian and Asian guys, the problem they both encounter is collectivist society just does not promote being like very dominant and very aggressive and things like that. So their personalities aren't as attractive to Western women who are expecting that, right? White guys, they're just kind of nerdy. They're just kind of dorky. That's their problem. They're just kind of dorky. But some girls, have a fetish for white guys. So they have that advantage, right? Some Asian girls, I've had Asian girls fetishize me. Honestly, it was creepy. They might have slept with me, but it was creepy. I didn't like it. So it's one of those things like, oh yeah, some girls prefer white guys, but when they prefer you for your race, it's very uncomfortable. Like I don't like it. So that's been my experience. Not having an accent definitely helps. Not dressing Indian definitely helps. Down, please. Indian ego. Discord wouldn't work. I mean, I know there's a way to add you. Maybe we can set up for a future one. As a Indian guy, you got to be more pushy. That's an interesting question because being pushy, it has its place, but I've also known some Indian guys can be too pushy. So it's half and half. Okay, if you're a decent looking Indian guy who's born in America with no accent, you should be able to do quite well without any major excuses. Um, by the way, so I'm going to take a little break, but if you guys, I have some topics in mind, but if you guys have any ideas, let me know. I'm about to go and do some infield actually. But if you have any ideas for the last topic I do, let me know. I'm going to be back within 2 minutes. Yeah, it's better to be too, well, you don't want to be too pushy to the point of harassment, right? But it's better to be a little bit pushy than, oh, fuck, than to be completely passive, right? So, but I know guys, you don't want to be so pushy you're getting kicked out of places. You get what I'm saying? I can't see your profile pic, but yeah, a lot of nerdy, a lot of white guys are nerdy. Look, Asian guys are nerdy too. I think Indian guys are. I think they're a little bit less nerdy, but than white and other Asian guys. But you know they have different issues, so it kind of switches. I think I've said this in the past. I think black guys have the best game naturally. Um, like they tend to be the most charismatic and confident. I don't really know why. It's just cultural differences. But it's interesting to me, right? Like I'm curious. Like it's normal for black guys. It's normal to approach women to make your intentions clear. It's not considered creepy and weird. And maybe it's just, but they're very liberal, so you can't blame SJW-ness because they're very liberal, right? So I don't know why it is. I have my theories, but I'm not entirely sure. However, the problem black guys have is a lot of times they have low standards with women. I don't know why, but I've had a close friend who's a black guy, and he would go for girls that were like threes, and he could get hot girl. He was a smart, charismatic, good looking guy. I'd see hot girls be all over him, and he went for the fucking threes, and that's something that happens. I don't know why it happens. Maybe he genuinely liked them, but I didn't think so. Fitness is a huge. Oh, fatness is a huge deal. I can make a whole video about this. It's true, but also when I was at my fattest, I also pulled the most eights, nines, and tens. So, um, not entirely true. White, Mexican, Native American, black. Well, you're missing Middle Eastern. I guess technically that's Asia, but you're missing Middle Eastern. I would say I would probably switch Mexican and Native American, or Latino and Native American. But that's just my personal experience. But I'll be back in within a minute. If you have any ideas, yes, a recording of one of your approaches, yeah. Send it to my email. You want me to? Is it audio and video or just audio? Look, I shouldn't be fat either. I made mistakes that led me to gain weight. I'm not like obese, but I've gotten overweight, and that's just retarded. I'm gonna fix that in the next couple months. Yeah, you can both send video or audio. It's not both. Well, I appreciate that. I hope you're taking action, right? Because you say you know everything you need. I just hope you're taking action. Um, but yeah, send me these clips. I'm gonna be back in about 2 minutes. I'm gonna be doing these live streams on the second channel a lot more in the future. Um, because I know like look, I can't let Todd V beat me. No offense to Todd. Well, a little offense to Todd V, I guess. I can't let Todd V beat me in terms of views. I can't. I've heard multiple guys tell me who knew him personally say that his girlfriend's like a 4. So I that is unacceptable. He's a very good marketer. He has some good ideas. But when I see Todd V beat or Coach Kyle, I think he's a really cool guy, and he does have a hot girlfriend, right? There's no one unless they're fucking blind is going to say Coach Kyle's girlfriend is not attractive. She is, and that does help legitimize him as a coach in my eyes. But he doesn't put that much effort into his channel. Like I can't beat him. Yes, I can. Not because he's not good, but he doesn't put any effort. Who does free coaching? Oh, Max Punt. Oh, yeah, that's cool. I believe that because playing with fire, I'm gonna have to talk with Alex sometime about this because I like the guy a lot, and he just does not want to sell his products. Like, and people still complain, like, why do you have a product at all? Bro, he could make so much more money. He makes more than me, but only like 30% more than I do, even though he has over 100,000 subscribers. It's because he won't promote his shit, which, hey, that means you should respect it. I am definitely want to learn more about money. I mean, my goal is to make 7 figures this year. And so I'm 100% open to that. I know I could be doing a lot more in terms of money. I mean, the main thing first is to blow up the YouTube channel, right? If I do that, then I'm just going to make a lot more. But I got to 6 figures, barely even putting in any effort. I should be at 7. Okay, so you sent a recording. I am looking for it. Yeah, if I were in a small town, first thing to do is fucking move. I mean, look, you could literally, for example, you could move to Vegas. Anyone can move to Vegas. You can. I knew Charisma King. His rent was $800 a month for a 2-bedroom that was a 30-minute walk from the Strip. 30-minute walk from the Strip. Now I got a much nicer place since then. 30-minute walk from the Strip, from all the clubs. $800 for 2 bedrooms. Any motherfucker could afford that, right? And in Vegas, you can be a promoter and you can make $30 to $50 an hour if you're halfway decent. So if you're living in a small town, it's not that very hard to get the fuck into a big town. You just got to be a lazy motherfucker. You just got to have a mindset of like, how am I going to make that happen? It's really not that hard. Okay, so I'm going to check for the email. I'm going to be back within 2 minutes. Gotta, take a piss. And then I'll do one more topic. Maybe it'll be the audio breakdown. No, it's not. Infernal Palm. Okay, so most places around the Strip are more than that, but you can find places in Vegas that are like $400 a month that are not that that are in Vegas for 1 bedroom maybe $500-600 a month, for 2 bedroom like $800 a month. You can find that. You're making $640 a week. You can afford Vegas already, right? So big cities are like impossible to move to if you think it's too hard. It's like when you go to a club, you're like, oh, I can't get to the club. The girls are there. So you know what I thought when I went from community college? I did my first 2 years in community college and went to a university. I thought everyone was going to be a genius. I thought they're going to be so smart. They're going to be so hardworking. I'm not going to be. They were fucking morons. It's all a lie. Same thing with clubs. It's like, oh, everyone's going to be so cool in the club and you're going to go to the high-end nightclub and they're not going to let you in. They're fucking morons. The competition is not what you think it is. So I want to put that out there. Yeah, it's really not that hard to be not poor. It's one of those things. If you're around, it's the people around you determine what's normal. So if you're around poor people in a small town, it feels like, oh, it's really no, they're fucking stupid. I mean, I don't mean that in a mean way, like low IQ, like they're making stupid decisions that's leading them to there, and you need to get out of that gravity. I'll be back in 2 minutes, and I will check for the audio infield breakdown because I'd like to do that. Yes, I would say 8 figures is ideal. I agree. Any more than that, and you're too famous, probably. So I would say 8 figures are working too hard, but I would say 8 figures is ideal. I 100% agree with that. Yeah, but growing up poor actually is good. You know why? Because I grew up poor, and now not being poor means so much more, right? If you're born rich, you really have nowhere to go. So being poor is ideal, honestly. Like if you're born poor, it's like being born bad with women and then you get good with women, it actually means something. But if you're good, like if you lose your virginity at 13 because you're just a natural Chad, whatever, it's not even exciting. So I do not see any infield in my inbox. But yeah, it's really not hard. A lot of I understand the skepticism, but if you want to make money, the way to do it is online. In 95% of cases, the best way to do it is online. And all right, I'll check spam. And the way to do it is there's many ways to do it. Obviously, some require capital to start, right? Like e-commerce and such. But the way to do it is to look up teachers. Some of them will be frauds, some of them will be scammers, but a lot of them are not. My business has a lot to do with Tim Ferriss, Russell Brunson, a lot of different people who taught me marketing. And yeah, I was skeptical. I thought maybe it's all bullshit, but I was willing to try the principles and see if it worked. They fucking worked. They worked. And I want to say Andrew Tate does Social Circle Game. He does now, right? Because he's famous. When you're that famous, because he's gotten very famous. When you're that famous, when you have millions of followers on Instagram, you can't even do cold approach if you want to. I mean, you go to a club and people are approaching you, right? You're going to wake up to 50 DMs from women every day. So there's no reason to do cold approach at that point. But Andrew Tate, I saw his interview with some pickup coaches, and he talked about where his lays came from. And the first 400 or so came from night game, from approaching women in bars and clubs. So that's where he met most of the women he met. So I would say, yeah, now he probably does Social Circle Game. I would too if I were that fucking famous. But when he started, he didn't. All right, so I do have the audio infield. Let me know if you guys can hear this or not. Right? I'm not 100% sure if you can. So let me know if you guys hear this.
Hi, excuse me. I know this is totally random, but I just thought you were really cute.
All right. Did you guys hear that? I assume L means you don't hear it. I mean, that's what it would mean on Twitch. How about now?
Hi, excuse me. I know this is totally random, but I decided.
Does it sound better? I put it on sharing. Do you guys hear it? Just let me know, because I want to know whether I should play the whole clip. Sounds all right? All right. All right is probably good enough. All right. So just to set the stage, one of my viewers, who is an Indian guy, sent an infield of himself approaching a girl, asking for feedback. And I think the best way to learn game is not to just learn from someone who's already very successful. It's to learn from someone who's making mistakes, someone who's not getting the results they want yet, because you can see what mistakes they're making that you're also making. There's probably going to be things that you're going to be like, oh, okay, like that was awkward, but I also do that. Like, fuck. Why do I do that? And that is the fastest way to learn, is to see a mistake that you know you make and to feel cringy about it. But that will help you learn. So I don't know how good or how bad this infield is because I haven't seen it, but student infield is the best way to learn. And we're going to check this out and see what we find out.
Hi, excuse me. I know this is totally random, but I decided you're really cute. Wanted to come introduce myself.
Okay, so I'm curious. Now would be a good time to put on the Jeopardy music. What did you think of that opener? How did that opener come across? The vocal tonality, how he said it, what he said. How did that come across?
Hi, excuse me. I know this is totally random, but I decided you're really cute. Wanted to come introduce myself.
So he's very friendly and he's charming. That's good because you don't want to be threatening. You don't want to be overly aggressive on the opener. And he's also stating his intentions. I thought you were cute. In a daytime environment, that's not a bad thing to do. It's not the only way to open, but that can definitely work. So overall, the opener is somewhat above average, but it's also missing something. And the way I would put it is that it's missing big dick energy, which has nothing to do with whether you have a big dick. It's not about literally having a big dick, but he's not coming up to her like, I'm feeling myself. I love myself. I know women want me. I know I'm sexy. I'm expecting you to like me. He sounds slightly apologetic. I'm going to play it one more time, but he sounds slightly apologetic and like he expects that she's going to reject him.
Hi, excuse me. I know this is totally random, but I decided you're really cute. Wanted to come introduce myself.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Betsy.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So do you see what I'm saying? He's charming, he's friendly, but the masculine, dominant, confident energy is lacking. So most likely she's going to be receptive on a friendly level, but unless he adds that element of sexual energy, of dominance, of confidence, of those kinds of things, she's going to see him as a friend, not as a potential lover. There's not... The best metaphor I've heard is he's punching at the wall. He's not punching through the wall. He's a baby tiger. He's not an adult tiger. When you see a baby tiger, you're like, oh, it has claws. It's so cute. You're like, one day, but right now, it's not going to do anything. That's the energy I'm getting from this approach.
What is your name?
Ejnadine.
Ejnadine, what country are you from?
I'm Palestinian.
Oh, wow, Middle Eastern, okay. What ethnicity would you say I am?
Indian.
I was hoping you say like Middle Eastern or half white or something, but no, it's Indian.
I lived abroad, so I like know
Yeah. What language do you speak? Palestinian? Is it just called Palestinian?
Arabic.
Arabic, okay, nice. That's a tough language. Can you speak it? Or?
Yeah.
See, the thing with my parents' language is I can only understand it. I can't speak it.
Speak Hindu.
Two things I'm noticing here. One, purely logical. There's no judgments of no positive judgments, no negative judgments, nothing that's like emotional. It's, oh, you're this race, this ethnicity, you're from this country. Purely logical, purely interview. And you want to have some emotionality in your interactions. The second thing, I want to see if you guys can figure it out. I'm going to play that part again. There's another thing that I would say is very important that would make his interaction far better.
What ethnicity would you say I am?
Indian.
Yeah. I was hoping you say like Middle Eastern or half white or something, but no, it's Indian.
I lived abroad, so I like know
Yeah. What language do you speak? Palestinian? Is it just called Palestinian?
Arabic.
Arabic, okay, nice. That's a tough language. Can you speak it? Or?
Yeah.
See, the thing with my parents' language is I can only understand it. I can't speak it.
Speak Hindu.
Do you see it? He's rushing. So that is also a form of being apologetic. He's rushing. He's like, I have to keep, and then she'll like me, right? He's not leaving room to breathe. He's not leaving pauses. That makes you seem reactive when you're rushing. Like, you have to leave some space for the girl to start reacting to you. You want to be the oak tree, and she's the squirrel running around the oak tree. Right now, he's the squirrel, and she's the oak tree. That's the vibe. And that vibe will only work if you're approaching a woman who's sexually dominant. And most women are not. Maybe in 30 years, that'll change. Who knows? But right now, 50 Shades of Grey is the most popular book in the world for a reason. It's about dominance and submission. And when it comes to the sexual element of an interaction, you can't be submissive and expect it to go well.
Hindi, no, that's a different language. There's a lot of languages in India. But, my parents can speak it, but I can't speak it. Hindi, no, that's a different language. There's a lot of languages in India.
I think he said there, I've learned a lot of languages. It's a DHV, like demonstrating I know a lot of languages, but the place he's putting it in is self-qualifying, right? He's putting it in a place where it's like, by the way, I know a lot of, right? It's kind of forced, which whenever you, like, if you say something that implies higher value, like a girl's like, how did you get here? Well, I flew here in the jet. If it's true and she asked a question, that's fine. But you're just like, I need to insert it unnecessarily. Like, oh, by the way, I know a lot of, like, that's not good. That comes across as self-qualifying, as trying too hard. So it's important to notice the difference between those two things. I don't know if it fucked up or... Okay, it's not making any sound. I'll try reloading it.
Besides the way you interpret it or not?
That's a different one, I think. Okay.
Arabic, okay, nice. That's a
Like no.
okay. What ethnicity?
Okay, sorry about that.
Indian.
Yeah. I was hoping you said like Middle Eastern or half white or something. But no, it's Indian.
I lived abroad, so I like know
Yeah. What language do you speak? Palestinian? Is it just called Palestinian?
Arabic.
Arabic, okay, nice. That's a tough language. Can you speak it? Or?
Yeah.
See, the thing with my parents' language is I can only understand it. I can't speak it.
Speak Hindu.
Hindi, no, that's a different language. There's a lot of languages in India. But, my parents can speak it, but I can't speak it. I can only understand it. But what year are you? Freshman.
So he's going back to logic. What year are you? Logic, logic, logic. No girl is going to have sex with you based on logic. Unless you're like a millionaire and you're like 6'8". Logic is not what creates flirtation and sexual energy. It's not logic. You got to get out of logic.
What do you study?
Dentistry, pre-dental.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I majored in psychology, actually. Yeah. You probably got to get going, but would like to hang out sometime?
Yeah.
You probably have to get going. All right, that reveals more than anything else from that entire interaction. What does that mean? What is he assuming? Oh, well, you probably have to get going. His assumption is, oh, you're probably going to reject me. I don't think you like me. I don't think girls like me. You're probably going to reject me. But maybe, please, I can have your number anyway. That mindset is the underlying problem, is that I need to try to trick you into liking me, but you're probably not going to. That is the underlying problem here.
Yeah, let me grab your contact info.
And look, that was a flake. I guarantee that was a flake. That was 100% a flake. No chance that that was not a flake. And look, that was not a horrible interaction. He was positive. He wasn't negative. His energy was not negative. And that's very important. He was like friendly, charming, but there was just no sexual energy. It was not emotional, and it was too flat. And that was the problem. That's why I'm almost 100% sure that this was a flake. And so that's something that a lot of people struggle with. I would say the easiest way to learn how to get out of that is to watch good infields, to watch infields where the guy actually pulled the girl, where he actually like had success, and to see what that looks like. You can click the link below. I'll have a link to my course God Mode, which has 5 hours of infield footage of myself actually pulling girls home, so you can see what those interactions look like. But the main things you want to take from this are not to be too logical and to have some balls, have some dick in your interaction. Like, I'm talking to you because I think you're sexy, and I'm not afraid to admit that. If you don't like me, that's fine, but that's why I'm here. He wasn't doing that in this interaction. Yeah, it was a flake. Okay, so I'm not... Yes, there's definitely plenty of room to improve. It wasn't horrible, though. Like, look, I'll say it's really not horrible. But there is a lot of room for improvement, specifically in terms of just that dominant sexual energy and not being logical, asking logical questions. Like, if you get into a thing with a girl where it's like logical, you're like, question. What you want to do, ask some retarded, weird question like, do you believe in God? Are your parents divorced? Have you ever had a one-night stand? Something like random that might fuck up the interaction, but at least it makes it spicy. At least there's a chance it goes somewhere. That's an interesting question. Yes, but not often. It's pretty rare. It's pretty rare. It does happen, but it's not common. Yeah, 100%. There's so much room for improvement. Because a phone number where it's like, oh, well, you know, he approached me, which is kind of rare, and like he didn't do anything really bad, but like, did she feel butterflies in her stomach? No. She didn't feel turned on. She wasn't getting wet talking to you. You get what I'm saying? Like, she wasn't feeling wet. That's what's fucking missing. Yeah, the game, the wall exercise is useful. Maybe I saw you sent one too. I might do that later. I'm about to do infield. My guy, my filmer, he's here. So I got to head out to do my infield. I actually would love to see your 5'1" friend. If we could get, ideally, if you could film some actual infield of him, that'd be great. So main two suggestions for you before I head out. One is speak with more masculine energy, more charisma, more passion, more energy. Get what I'm saying? Like, hi, how's it going? No, hi, you're very beautiful. Not, hi, you're really cute. No, hi, who are you? You see the difference? Like, speak with some fucking energy, passion, some dick. That's the number one thing. The number two thing is to make the conversation more emotional. And that's more difficult. Honestly, it's easier to control your voice than like, but that's the other thing. More emotional topics. And if you can't think of anything, just say something ridiculous. Like when she says, when she says where she's from, be like, oh, that's interesting. Interesting. Or she's like, I speak 4 languages. Oh, you do? Cool. Right? Just make it more emotional, not logical. And this is what I was saying earlier, right? Indian guys, that's the biggest fucking problem they have is being too logical. Got to get more emotional. And I've seen Indian clients who were too logical make that transition quickly because I think they're some of the fastest learners, right? They're very good at learning things quickly, but you have to understand that difference. Tinder's for betas. No, your accent's fine, man. You have no accent. You sound like your voice sounds good. The only problem with your voice, you sound, I don't know if I'd say you sound white, but you don't sound Indian. You sound American, right? But the thing you're missing in your voice, too submissive sounding. Like, hi, like too like she's above me. That's the problem with your voice. It's not about being Indian or white. Well, his dad, well, look, your dad definitely got laid at least once, so that might be all right. All right, so I'm going to head out. I might do another stream later tonight. We'll see, but I'm going to go get some infield. It's going to be some fucking weird, interesting, hilarious infield. We're going to see what happens. I've got like 20 ideas written out. Hopefully I'll do another stream at like 10 or 11, but if not, I'll see you guys tomorrow.